Hello, everybody, and welcome to Studying the Masters with Alicia Dianne Art. We are going to continue in our children's book edition, working on Lucy Fleming's piece, The Foragers, or just Foragers. I'm going to be not showing my face today. I'm just going to be showing the work that we're doing. I got to do a little bit of the extra line work since the last time that we met, just for the sake of time, just because it has been like so many details, which I love, and I just like am so grateful that we have it. But I wanted to just do a little bit more of the line work, just so I can get some of that out of the way. So you see, like, let me see if I can see. So in this area, there's more, I added more leaves, and you see there's a lot of like overlapping. Up in the corner up here, I added some more leaves. That's in the original illustration. Down here, there's more detail. I colored in those leaves there. So I'm just kind of filling you in on what I did since the last time. So I got to work on it just about an extra 30 minutes or so. So you're not missing much from the last Studying the Masters video. It's pretty much just a little bit of extra added details, so that it's nothing that it's like, don't want you to feel like you missed any steps or anything. So it's just been just kind of looking a little bit more closely and filling in any gaps there that might have been, all right, so I have to fill this in, fill that in. But this is going to be our last video for this illustration, and next week we're going to be starting in a new one. So let's see how much we can get done. I feel like we can get this knocked out of the park. So I'm just going to do my very best for that. And let's see. I'm going to be adding in some of the color that we missed. I was really just kind of paying a little bit more attention, like I mentioned just a moment ago, and just seeing any details that we might not have noticed before, and just quickly adding those in. I've been using, the brush is called, it's from Kyle's Drawing Box. It's called Ultimate Pencil Hard. So it's a pencil brush that I'm using right now. I have used a couple of other brushes since we began, but I really like this one. I was using this one for the line work, and I'm just using it just a little bit to kind of fill in some of these things. Let's see. I hope you guys are having a good Friday morning. My Friday morning it's all right. It's going. I didn't wake up feeling my greatest today, honestly. I'm just trying to push through and kind of, make the most of it, because it's a challenging sort of a week, and I want it to be more positive because it is my birthday week. So I'm like, man, it sucks. I have to go through kind of big drama on my birthday week. So yeah, I'm experiencing some family dramas at the moment, and it's unfortunate, but what can you say? It happens sometimes. Wish it didn't have to, but that is the way things go sometimes. Alright, so I'm going to go back and forth between just kind of talking and then talking just generally, and then talking about what I'm doing. So I have also been using these Aaron Blaze brushes. I like his charcoal brushes. They're really nice. And what I want to do, and what I want to focus on, is adding in some of the texture that we didn't get a chance to get to just yet. So let's see. Alright, so I have different, I'm wondering if I might start combining some stuff just for the sake of less confusion on some of these, but we'll see how much we get to, how I feel about that, because I want to start adding in some of the texture colors. There's some warmer colors that I'm adding into these leaves, and even a couple of I see some highlight in there some places. So I want to add things like that today, just paying attention to those sort of things. Maybe I'll make that a little bit less saturated. So I'm just going to be looking at the original and just looking back at my own stuff and just seeing what I want to add. I hope that you guys have been kind of drawing along, or just kind of just finding out little pieces that you can incorporate into your own work, because that's really like the whole thing, is just you trying to find things that you can add, things that you enjoy. Just, it's adding more to your own like visual library, and I think that's so important. Let's see, it's like a have a warmer green, or like a, let's see, what color I want to use for this. That's in a different layer, so let's see. I have to figure out all my layers. So this will be, oh, that looks cool actually without that. Just seeing like all the lines, that looks so fun. Oh my gosh, maybe I might even try doing some stuff like this. That looks so cool. Anyway, so let's see. And I'm gonna do like this. I'm gonna try and number them as well, because I think that can be helpful. Left side, right. All right. So let's see. I'm gonna put that over on the 0. I think it can be helpful to name these when you have a whole bunch, because I'm trying to not get confused. It can feel like confusing when there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I'm gonna rename this one as well. Just want to make it as like least confusing as possible. Alright, so let's see. See. What's this? Does that even need to be its own layer? And if I can just merge this down. Let's see if I can merge that down. Alright, I'm just gonna, do that. I wanna like start to eliminate all the stuff I have. It's just too much. Alright. I'll also name that 0. Just so you know. When I came back to it in this morning and I opened it up, like nothing was named, and I was like, oh god, seriously? I didn't bother naming anything. So let's see, is this on the, I'm trying to figure out now what's on the base, what's on the mid-level. Alright. Just gonna be little by little adding some texture. It was so funny this week. I was looking through like one of my illustrations that I started. I'll have to check exactly when I started it. I didn't even think it was that long ago, but I was like, man, I've gotten so much better since then. It's so funny that I actually, like, I knew absolutely nothing about digital. I just didn't, for whatever reason, even though I had done like traditional painting, like for whatever reason, just like the digital did not register in my brain, and I don't know why, but it just didn't. And I was looking back at one of my older attempts, I never finished it, of a digital illustration, and just how much I've learned since then. I was just kind of blown away, and it kind of made me happy, because I'm like, wow, like the effort I'm trying to put in is actually, something's working, something's paying off. I'm actually learning my lessons, and I actually kind of started editing it a little bit, and I think I do want to actually go ahead and finish it, because I'm like, wow, I know so much more now. I'm sure I just was frustrated, and that's why I never finished the one I was working on before. But I was like, man, I've learned so much since then. I think I can come back to this and actually finish it. And that honestly felt really good. I was like, okay, I'm learning something. You know, I'm learning something through this effort. That's a good thing. So I think one of the biggest things that I've picked up as of lately, and I even noticed this looking at like some of my JD Story, like concept work that I was, you know, trying to figure things out originally. And I was like, man, one of the biggest things that I didn't like pay attention to and didn't notice was the creation of a color palette, like having a simplified color. And I knew like that I was supposed to make a color palette and that I should make one, but I didn't know how it worked. And it's been just the best thing I can say. I really think it's like one of the best things you can do for yourself is to create yourself a limited color palette. And what you can do with it, and I think I'm on the wrong layer for this one. Yeah, this one is probably either on mid or on flowers. Let's see, is it on flowers? It's on the base. No, it must be on mid. Yeah. Alright. So anyway, I was like, oh wow. So what you do is you have a simplified color palette. So let's just say these are your 6 colors, and I think it's good to just have 6 colors. So let's just say it's these. You just use these, but when you pick a color, you give yourself the flexibility to add what's called tint or tone, which would be adding white or adding black. And I didn't even realize this before, but once you have that one color picked, it's all the same color. You're just adding tint and tone. So you can go as light or as dark or as neutral as you want, like desaturated, that's just adding the gray. And it's all of that will still be allowed in your color palette. So if it was like traditional paint, like this first red would just be the tube, and then just going in this direction would just be adding white. So that's all you would be doing, is just be adding white, and just going in this direction you'd be adding black. So you can use any of these different shades, and going in this direction you're just adding gray. So you can use any of those, and you give yourself the flexibility to use any of those, and you just use your color palette, and you allow yourself, you allow yourself to go darker, you allow yourself to go wider, you allow yourself to desaturate, and you give yourself the flexibility. But you might not even realize at first, but the viewer is still seeing like that tone being represented. And I hope this doesn't sound like complicated, but you won't even realize it, but they just kind of, they all feel like they flow together because it is the same tone, and you're just adding either white or you're adding black or you're adding a neutral gray, but it's still all that same tone of yellow. So rather than picking like 5 different yellows, like if you're going up and down, you just have that one that you start with, and then that will be the same for your color palette. So you would pick like different references, or you can pick from nature, you can pick something where you allow yourself to pick 6 different colors, and then you just allow yourself to go up, down, or neutral. And that just makes it so much easier for you. And it keeps everything looking like it goes together. Like I was seeing in the illustration that I did before, and I had like no specific color palette, and things were just starting to get like, it was just not flowing together. And that's kind of what happens when you have too many different colors, too many different hues. It will just start to look busy or like confusing, or it loses harmony when you have too many different colors. And that was like one of the biggest lessons that I've learned fairly recently, because like I said before, color was not something that I initially learned going to art school the first time, and I had to like pick that up. But it makes a huge difference. All right, so let's see, where are we at? I want to find a specific, I want to find that scribbly layer. And it might be on the line art layer. Alright, so I wanted to add like some scribblies to this, and I want to add it. It looks like it's very like subtle. And you know what, I might do it on add a new layer and then like merge it down. Oops. So since I already have some line art here, I think I'll just add it like subtly. Oops, not there. And I can't even really see it on the original, but I just kind of feel like there's something there. just has another feeling of something, so I just want to incorporate the feeling that I'm getting. And then I'll just merge this down. Okay. I'll rename that line heart. Alright, so let's see. I'm going to keep on just kind of adding little by little some more texture. Let's see. Why does this look like this on a clipping mask? I don't know. Anyway, I'll just leave that alone. Let's see. Alright, so let me go ahead and keep moving with that charcoal type of brush I was using before. And let's keep going. Alright, I'm trying to find let's see, my flowers are here. So let me make also like a clipping mask for my flowers. Let's see, flower. Alright, and I can probably even add some more variation with these colors. I can go a little wider too. My birthday is coming up. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Let me just sit home and sulk. Oh no. Let me stop. I'm just messing. But seriously, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do for the birthday stuff. I'll see. I'll think about it, I guess. Here I'm gonna go out with some girlfriends on Sunday. And I don't know what else. I'll just think about it, I guess. Let's see. I'm going to go back to my texture, my line art layer, and add a little bit more line stuff for that layer too. There's like a little bit of white just kind of scattered around a little bit, and I want to incorporate that. And let's see. Alright, so good. I think we're in good pacing. I'm going to add a little bit of some of this darker color here for just adding some of these like emphasis that's under here for the lily pad shadow. And you know what? I think I might want to do some of that on the texture layer. I want to get like a teal, like a blue teal, to add in some of that with my charcoal brush. Maybe it's darker or bluer. I feel like it's not bluer. I feel like it's more tealer, but Anything I'm missing? I'm gonna make this a little bit bluer here. This is like, there's something going on here that I want to make sure that I capture. Just like a little bit more emphasis on the texture. I want to make sure that I get that in there. That I feel like is more of the teal color. I'm going to add just a little bit of the blue so I have both of them there. And maybe even a little bit of a lighter teal. I don't remember which brush I started with for doing the water. I'll have to probably look back and see on the first video which one I started with. Alright, so let's see. Doop, doop. So these are whiter over here. Let's see what else I might want to incorporate. I think there's like some more darker green color over here. Let's see what layer that's on. Looks like it's the base. So feel free to let me know like what you've been thinking about this studying the masters, if it's been helpful for you. If it's not helpful for you, then why it's not helpful. Just let me know like what your thoughts are. I feel like there's like a color here. And maybe even want to add some line over there. I really love line. I just find it's like something really fascinating with the whole idea about line art. And just everything that goes into it. Alright, let's see. I want to add some more colors over here. A little bit. Or just like a little bit of a shadow from this lily pad coming down there. And even the line on that one is different color. So I'm going to try and make sure I incorporate that. It's more of a blue one. Blue grayish. There's a lot of that orange color on this one here. Like a lot of it. But it's good because it's like mixing in, like I was talking about before, sort of that warm color with the cool. I got some on that bark by mistake, so I want to be careful where I'm placing it. Just a little bit in here, not too much though. So thoughts. One of the things that's kind of on my mind just very recently, because like I think I might have mentioned this like in the video, probably even this week, is that I don't really think about AI too much. I don't worry about it. It doesn't bother me. But for the first time, I got really annoyed with it. I don't know why. Well, I think I know why. Because like I was a member of this group, or I am currently, and it's a group on Facebook, and it's like it's called like African American art, something like that. And I really liked the group a lot. I was actually even like one of the top contributors or something. Like they gave me some title like that because I really enjoyed the group. But then like all of a sudden I noticed there's like these people posting this AI stuff, and they're not like saying it's AI. They're just sharing it and then like just kind of letting people like, oh my god, it's good, work is great. And it's like, you know, somebody without, who probably doesn't have like the eye, or like is not really familiar, is not really an artist themselves, won't necessarily know. But if you are an artist, then I think it's a lot easier that you can tell like fairly easily when you see like some AI. And then when you look even closer, you notice like something weird, like the thing had like 3 arms, and I'm like I already knew it was AI, but then afterwards I saw like they had 3 arms, and I noticed there was like a backwards arm, and I'm like, yeah, this is like really, and it just bothered me. And I don't like to use this channel to complain at all, because it's not the purpose, but I just didn't like it. Anyway, that's all I'll say. I just didn't like it. It made me feel uncomfy. Oh god, so anyway, whatever. I'm just gonna let that alone. I'm not gonna complain about that no more, because it's really not even worth it. You just gotta just make your own art. And whatever other people want to do with whatever they're doing, then, you know, God bless them. Let them live their life. I'm just not gonna waste my time no more. God bless them. That's what you have to kind of do. That's what you have to say, I think. If there's stuff that you don't like, then you just have to, like, whatever. Let it go. Let me see. Are my rocks on this layer? Yes, they are. Alright. And some people might think that, like, I heard somebody saying before that, like, oh, well, what's the difference if you're working with a reference? Like, that was kind of annoying, but you know what? As far as, like, I want to say with references, like artists have, and especially like specifically with studying the masters, artists have been doing master studies for hundreds of years. It's like, it's literally how artists learn in the Renaissance. Like if you take art history classes, like artists would have a studio and they would take an apprentice, and literally like apprentices learn like copying their masters. Like that's how they learn. And then they go on to make their own stuff. But I don't know if everybody like realizes that it's part of the learning process. It's a lot of what I used to do when I was younger, is just kind of look at what other artists were doing and then try to replicate it. And I think that's so much a part of like the learning process. It just is. But you know, you just do your best. You learn what you can learn, like however you can learn. I think the difference is learning. You can't really learn by, like, you know, typing stuff in. Doesn't it, you can't learn from that. You learn from trying and doing it yourself. That's really how you learn stuff. When you try stuff and you're willing to, like, take it on, you'll see yourself get better. Like, that was like one of those things I was saying earlier. Like I noticed, like, I can see where I'm growing myself, and it's exciting because you're like, wow, like, not that long ago I didn't know how to do this, but now I can, you know, incorporate all this other stuff that I'm you know, doing now, and it's exciting to see when you can see your own growth. It is exciting, I think. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna keep on moving on. Yeah, so I'm just curious, like, you know, I want to bring up as many, like I said before, I want this channel to really be able to bring up, oops, this is not what I want to do. Wrong layer. Like I said a few days ago, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing this, you always feel like you are always in danger of doing the wrong layer. Drawing, sketching on the wrong layer, it's just something that it's like we'll always have to deal with. Okay. Alright. No matter how long you've been making art, you're always gonna be like, still like, the wrong layer phenomenon will still exist, unfortunately. This one is actually like red. Actually, you know, I think I was saying before that I think it would be faster to just do all my drawings and then come back and put in the right color, and I take that back wholly. I think it's easier to just pick the color that's supposed to go and then, you know, deal with it that way, because trying to figure out what you did in the right color and what you did in the color that needs to be changed is too much of a pain in the butt. I rather would have just picked the right color in the first place. So I take that back. All right, let's see. Where are we? And there's a little bit more texture for these rocks. It can give, there's more color variation for the rocks. All right, so I'm gonna incorporate some of that. Just the different color I'm seeing on the rocks. Let's see, there's like quite a few colors there. Like blues, grays. And then more tealish color. I think it's really helpful too to just kind of look at a piece and try to like, or look at an object and try and see all the different colors that are in there, because I didn't, this is another thing that I didn't know how to do for the longest time, or didn't realize, is this like, because I was always wondering, like, how do you mix colors to get like that color to find like the right colors, and it's really just observing. You want to observe the object and see what colors are there, because if you look close enough, you'll see that there's blues, or that there's like, you know, you might see like different, if you look at a human face in different lighting, you'll see different types of colors. And I think it becomes more obvious the more you kind of practice that. But I think it's a good practice to have. It's just kind of looking and seeing what colors you see in different objects. Because if you do look, you'll see a lot more than you might think you will see. That's a one. And even like some, just a little tiny bit of yellow under. Alright, so let me see if there are any other of the rocks. Any other of the rocks need some variation. I'm already seeing yes, some of them need like some more of this like warm color in there. Even if it's just subtle, it makes a difference. It's a little bit of a I want to actually say that this is a lighter, a little bit of a brown. Okay, let's see, what can we do? Anything standing out to me? Let's see. Let's see. Do just a little bit of stuff here. It's a little bit darker. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna call it on the background for now. Unless I see like one or two more things I might want to add. Just a little tiny bit to this. Let's see. Up here, a little bit here. Alright. I think I might call it for the background. For the sake of, you know, time and all of that. Let's see. Maybe I'll just add just a little bit more to one or two of these leaves. Don't want to miss anything that's really significant. And you see I'm just using just like a subtle variation of the color that's already there. I'm not overly changing it too much or nothing. I don't have a color palette for this because I'm just using the reference. But if I was to create a new, like, even if I wanted to use like a similar type of color palette for my own stuff, I would go ahead and create that whole thing just make myself a color palette, because like I said, especially when you're doing your own work, you really need to give yourself some boundaries so that way you have a consistent piece. Like for me on this, when you're doing a master study, then you can kind of rely on the reference for your color basis. All right, and where are my flowers? I want to give them just a little bit, these little cotton thingies. Just gonna use a pencil and just kind of give them a little bit more life, so that they're not so just kind of, you know, just lifeless almost. Give them a little bit of extra scribbly, extra scribblies. That feels nice. Okay, so let's move on to our characters. And I've already done like the cleanup for them, and I might just continue to use that. And what I think I will do is let's see, some of the line I might erase. So I might just duplicate this and erase some of the line. But first, let's just go ahead and get the color in. Maybe I'll even, I wonder how much, I'll just see what I can do with a lasso. All right, let's pick a color for the flesh tone. And I think I'll do it on this, all on the same layer for the character color. Ooh, wrong color. Alright, there we go. That's better. I'm like, why did she just turn green? Alright, and let's see, her hair. A nice brown color. And you can use a lasso to just fill in like big spaces. It does help you with the time. There is no lasso type of tool like this in Procreate, so what I've just been doing is been using like a thick marker brush. You can do like the little, you do the outline first and then you just drag it in, but I like to just kind of use a nice thick clean marker color. Why does it feel like that's too much of a desat? I wanted a warmer brown. I think that's too desaturated. That feels better. Ooh, excuse me. Alright. And I am going to keep her skin and her clothes on the same layer, just because that's what I feel like doing right now. I mean, you may or may not want to choose something different on your own. Some people like to do it on a separate layer. I sometimes do it on a separate layer, but for right now, I think I just want to keep it like this. feel like I missed a spot just now. In her hair. Her neck is showing, so I want to color that part of her neck that's showing. These little tights are almost white, but not quite. I notice she often does like the main character with red. I think it's because she really wants them to stand out in their environment. That makes sense to me. And it does make sense to do like a bright pop color for your main character, or for the central point where you want your audience to look. It's just going to draw their eye right there, because the color is part of the composition. I'll use that blue. And let's see. And I do pretty much like to do eyes in stark white with a black outline. It just makes it stand out more, I feel like. She has some fun little like stuffs in here, in her little bag of treats or whatever. Different types of mushrooms and stuff. Oh, what did I do? What was that? It was like weird. Did it angle me? Let's see. Undo. That was strange. It did like something. That's a similar color. Just want to make it a little bit warmer. It feels like it's warmer. Let's see. This looks like the variation of this one. Maybe I'll just make it. Alright, so we're almost there. Looks like there's some little like leaf or something here on the side. Alright, let's see how it looks without the character. Alright, so maybe let's see, let me put that more transparent. I'll see what I want to do with this. Okay. Mhm. Okay, so let's see now with the brother. And I'm just gonna say brother because I believe it is the brother. I don't know if she would be toting around another little boy that wasn't her brother. I mean, it could happen, but in my mind, they're like brother and sister. So I'm gonna keep it that way. Just a little bit more tan to her. And she gave him a much different color. He's got like instead like a off-white shirt instead of that bright red. So he's definitely like it really is obvious that she wanted him to be background character and not the main point of interest. Okay, let's see. I feel like I missed part of his shirt color there, so I want to make sure I get that filled in. Alright, let's see. She has an interesting way of doing characters. It's really simplified. Like most of her character designs kind of look like the same character, but I think that's obviously a very intentional choice, and I like it for her style. It really makes us like some people will have very different character designs, and it still looks like you can still tell it's their style. Like, alright, so I'm thinking like off the top of my head would be like Jen Kim, and like his characters can look very different, but they still kind of have the same feel of his work. And he's a character designer for animation, but I just love his stuff. I think it's just kind of up to the artist what you want to do, like as far as how just like visually diverse you want your characters to be. Not even when it comes to like, you know, ethnicity or anything, but just like stylistically. Like you can have a lot of variation or you can make them very similar. It's kind of going to be up to you. It's creative, what do they call that? Artistic choice. Oops. Didn't need to give him blue hair there. Okay. Actually, this part doesn't even exist. And this I'm going to say is skin. Ah. Okay, let's see what other things. He has a backpack, so let's get that color in there. Similar to the hair, but it's a much more desaturated version, or like has more of a yellow in there. And he looked like he just been picking apples. Like she was picking all the mushrooms and like all the variety stuff, and he's just like, give me the apples. Those are the sweetest things I can find. in this forest. So I'm gonna stick to apples. I like that. It kind of tells you a little bit about the personality with like what they're picking up. So it's just a little bit of extra detail and fun for your audience, really. Like it gives them a little bit of your character's personality by what they're picking up. And for him, his mouth is closed. But let's see, the inside of his mouth is just like kind of more dark. Let's see. I'm gonna zoom in here a second. Now I think I want to kind of go in a little bit. Oops, we do. Let's save. Yeah, I'm gonna pick like a like a pinkish red. Darker. Bring that down. And let's see, for their details, I think I have an idea, but I want to add some texture first. So I want to add a little bit of color variation first. Let me go ahead and finish doing some of the stuff I'm doing with color. Alright. I'm going to turn that off a second while I'm doing this. And that's my texture layer, so I'm just going to turn that off for a second. And it helps to zoom in so you can really start to see more of that detail. I can start to see where my line isn't as straight as I would like it to be. And let's see. Actually, no. Instead of adding to the hat, I'm going to add to her hair. And just bring that in a little bit more. Hair doesn't quite come out so much over here. So right now I'm just, being a little bit more finicky about how I want to do things. Where I won't see my lines. Let's see. Oops. All right, so let's see. Okay, So I have my characters, I have their color. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have everything where it's supposed to be. No lines that are out of place. Let me see. Alright, I'm not mad at this. See, I don't like what's happening with his hand. I don't want it to look like he's got an AI hand. So I'm gonna just fix his thumb. Oh, turn it. Alright, I forgot his feet. Let me put his feet in. That's important. Alright. Anything else? Don't think so. Alright, so what I want to do now, actually, this is off. I gave his head like the wrong shape there. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna add some texture and at the same time give some variation to my character's color. So I'm gonna create a clipping mask. And start adding a little bit of color. I'm going to start off with my pastel brush, but I'm going to take the size way down and see where we get. Is it just me or this is not showing? Something's wrong. Let's see. Oh, do I have something else selected? Oh. Duh. Alright. So I just had something else selected and I needed to deselect there. I want to take this brush down even a little bit more. Let's try 12 and see how that works. Maybe I want to take this down even more, so let's take that down to 20. And let's see. Try and add some bits of. Looks like I missed a space down here for her dress, so let's fix that. Alright. We'll darken this up. So I'm just going to use a little bit of variation to add some texture in here. I might play around with the size, especially when I get to like big places or bigger places. Let's see. Some of this stuff is done with pencil, so I'm going to leave some of that for when I come back in with a pencil. And it probably at this point would have been easier if I would have done this on a separate layer, but that's alright. I think that might be helpful going forward to put those on separate layers, just for the sake of not worrying about it getting in the wrong color, getting into the wrong area. Okay, let's see. Just maybe just slightly with her face. You know, her other ear doesn't even show in the original, so let me remove this. I don't know why I put it in there, maybe just instinctual. Okay, let's keep on moving. She's got some really rosy cheeks there. Let's see what we can do with that. All right. Let's see what else we can do. I'm gonna add a little bit of variation to her here. I think I can even go a little bit bigger, so I'll just do that just a bit. I know that she's got some of the stuff that's done like on pencil, so I'm going to save a bit of the hair detail for later to use a different type of a brush. Alright, what about, let's see. I know we've gone past the 1 hour mark, but I really like to get this done. And there is some variation too with the little plants. I want to give them a little bit of color difference too. Let's see. What else can I add? Okay. And you guys will see if you're looking at the original that there's a lot of stuff that I haven't added yet because I want to try and do that with the pencil brush. It looks a little too yellow for me. Alright, you know what? I'm going to try something. Let's go ahead and grab the pencil. And see what we can add with the pencil line. She doesn't outline the whole eye. It's just like the very upper part. And then with the character's features, let's see, I think she's just using a darker version of the same tone. I'm gonna pull the pencil down just a little bit more. The features are pretty small. Maybe just a little bit darker for some spots. And not as dark for others. It's not the entire face that's like outlined. It's not like she's doing over the whole thing. It's just like feels selective for where she put the line. So I want to kind of be aware of that. There might even be just a little bit of a lighter line over here for where the eyes are. That's what it looks like to me. Okay. And I think I'll use this just maybe a little bit darker. Just a little bit for like her little hands. It feels like this should be smaller. So the fingers are outlined. to fix wherever it's that color didn't fit exactly right. So notice just a little bit of it is off. So I want to go and fix that, but let me just first, I'm going to make her fingers, make sure her fingers aren't bigger on one hand than they are on the other. So I just want to be aware of that. Make sure I'm not giving her man hands on one side. Okay, let me go down here a second. Fix. Somebody outside is making a bunch of noise. I don't know who or why, but somebody's doing something. Okay, all right, so we're doing pretty good. Oops, what happened? Alright, let me go back up to my new line layer. Actually, let me fix it real quick in this layer. Some of these have stems here that I didn't yet draw in. I'm going to draw some of those. Maybe I'll make that one a little bit darker just so we can tell it's a different mushroom or whatever. This one feels like it should be coming like this. And let's see. All right, and a little bit there. Okay, let's see. Okay, I want to just go ahead and add a little bit of line for her hair. I can tell some of these are like a hairbrush, there's some brushes in Procreate, and she does a class in Procreate, so I'm pretty sure she painted all of this in Procreate. So there's some brushes. I'm not sure if I have a similar brush in Photoshop, but I might. They're like a wiry kind of brushes. They kind of give you like strands, look like a hair strands or fur strands, and it's just a nice brush to use for hair. But I don't know if I have the same thing in Photoshop. Just want to go ahead and make sure it doesn't all feel like it's just one massive clump. That's one thing I realized when you're doing digital painting for hair. You want to make it look like hair as much as possible. You don't want it to all look like it's all clumped together. I noticed I'm a lot more too thorough now with my studying the masters than I was before. I just kind of wanted to get an idea when I first started, but now I realize, oh no, I dropped my whole cup of coffee. Oh god, no. Oh god, I gotta sign out. I'm sorry. This is not good, not good, not good. It's all over the place. This is why you shouldn't have. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go.